So this is a continuation testimony from Uloftas to Captain Ashley Hostin, who testified today in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry on the 13th of August 2026. So ngifuna nifollowishe kuhle this case ukuthi kwenzakalani ukuthi anybody or everyone angabi left behind. Sikhona ukuthi sonke like si understand nangizwisisa musi. So before we continue ngicela ukubuza why Captain Pedro Rodriguez asabeka kangaka lapha KZN? I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Before we get to the business of the day, let's clear something. Tomorrow, Usulman Karim is supposed to appear in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, but by the look of things, it doesn't look like Uzokuvela. And also, our national impempe yetu Udru Ramsem is coming back again. I hope Uti iflu yake say pola polile shemas because like Beapete flu when she left on. So Usulman Karim, if he does not appear or if he has a reason which on the 12th they submitted a sick note, that sick note it must clearly state why angakhona appear in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. If he appears or he doesn't want to appear, iMadlanga they must recommend him to specialist sabo abazomcheck. If ever uza ngama tricks foot, I think iMadlanga they must issue him EJ50 because nakafika ngale ngaphakathi ku DCS, Department of Correctional Services yaka Grunewald, they will have control over him good bamuse nanoma kuphi la bafuna ukumchecka khona. So let's talk. Do you think ukuthi Usulman Karim will appear? Mina I doubt. Ama lawyers wake they will give us another reason or another story. So let's get to the business of the day. So after a testimony yaga Loftas, we had SAPS Captain Ashley Hostin that has taken his stand. So Mkhulu Hostin uthi he retired on the 31st of March 2026 after turning 60, serving 38 years lapha is poison. So yena ungena kanjani on this whole mess? Ungena ngokuthi when uBevan yakhumbula ngisho the towing car business person lo obeka nama breakdowns. So uBevan when he was unalive with his group, so Mkhulu Hostin he became the first person ukuthi responded to that scene. So uthi he knew ukuthi those that are involved in that shooting were kungenzeka ukuthi seba bhubhile or seba shonile because they had suffered ama head shot babadubule ehloko, and he added ukuthi those fatal or those shots bega fatal because the way babadubule ngakhona you can see ukuthi this was more like a hit. So uthi uBevan he did not know ubaba kaBevan uLoftas before ukuthi angene into this whole case or investigated this whole case because uthi ubaba kaBevan ungene shiqi on this case because of he was part of, actually he wanted to be part of the people that are investigating this whole shooting. So and if uBevan associated himself with one gang and was part of the Hollywood somewhere gang that is there in KZN. So pay attention, my fellow commissioners. Now we had John Vuligate. John Vuligate, he is working for EIPT. So John Vuligate, he told us about this case ukuthi kunamaphoyisa that are rogue abulala abantu that, and also those police officers bathola imali from kuphi kuma gang leaders. If ever maybe let's say uthengisa izidakamizwa, you want to clean indlela ukuthi kube nguwe othengisako, you would pay somebody as poison and then as poison lapha bazokuya to that competitor yakho and babulale that competitor as if kwangathi that competitor was fighting the police. I don't know what am I making sense. And then bese that whole scene it's recorded to what, to the IP to ukuthi amaphoyisa babulele abantu abaso and so the same scenario ukuthi uBevan he was part of the gang and then ubaba kaBevan he wanted this matter to be investigated ukuthi ukufa kwaBevan it was not the right way, so bambulele because of somebody allegedly Dean Cavender he received some money from whoever ukuthi uBevan must be eliminated. And also the other thing is that ukuthi kuvelile when John Vuligate was testifying as well ukuthi ama tow trucks and then ama ambulance, those are the businesses that are being used by ama drug syndicates ukuthi ba move ama drugs around in the country because I ambulance ku roadblock ayistotshiwa i-tow truck ku-roadblock ayisitotshiwe. So those businesses, they are part and parcel of the cartel or the syndicate lezi zama-drugs. I don't know what am I making sense now. So then Umkhulu Austin, he was a police officer when that whole incident happened. He went there and checked because he just wanted to enjoy his pension, and now he was talking the truth. If ever it happens ukuthi sifika ku scene and then we find people there already bagcwele, kungenzeka ukuthi part of the gang members were there. So uthi yena he had to ukuthi afake ibalaclava because of he doesn't know ukuthi what's next could happen. So niyayibona ukuthi whole this thing isebenza kanjani, my fellow commissioners, ukuthi like this whole IPT ivezile ukuthi there are rogue task team in KZN. If ever wena uthengisa ama-drugs and you want ukuthi ubulale the other competitor, you use isiphoyisa, pay the police officers so that they can eliminate i-competitor yakho, and then it will look like as if that competitor bebalwa namaphoyisa and then babadubula. That's why uNhlanhla Mkhwanazi ashilo ukuthi thina siyasebenza, but there are some sort of rogue police officers that are working with the criminal cartels or syndicates. So, and some of the people that they were doing all of this, they were working for KZN DPCI. Let's talk in the comment sections. What do you think? But my revelations la engiza now. So stay tuned for more. Let's meet tomorrow.
When I came out,
Before you go out, Captain, you say at paragraph 16, you confirm that 5 males were shot dead. And perhaps it's a pedantic question, but how do you know that they were dead? Did you test them? Did you check the pulse?
the damage done there, there's no way of survival. Everyone had headshots. Leave the body shots. I know exactly the killing spot on your body. So, as a weapon expert, I'm saying this as a shotist, test me. I know exactly where to kill you, the killing shot went to. So they all had headshots. So I didn't even scrutinize the bodies. There was no need, whether they were shot 5 times, once or 3 times, but they were deceased. These guys were gone. I got there, Chair, I want to mention, I got there very quickly, and I would say so from my experience in terms of the blood splatter or the spilling or the bleeding of the deceased. It hadn't even settled. The blood was still very fresh. It hadn't even started to dry. So that's how quick I was at that scene. When I say quick, I could have been if I were to use my experience going to shootings in progress in the CBD, which I did cash in transits, I done shootings in taxi ranks where it's still happening. I can hear the shots. I would have been there within easier than half an hour, the most. In fact, half an hour would have taken me from Durban to Maritzburg driving normal. But I would have been there within minutes after I got the call. So whoever raised the alarm to 10-111 with the complaint, had those shots, that there's a shooting, that is when I immediately said I'm going. And I broke on the radio and called one of my bands to say, back me, we got a positive shooting. So I'm speaking about the blood because you come to a scene and you see blood is starting to dry, it gets a different smell, it gives off a different smell. When I walked in there, I couldn't even smell blood.
From your experience or even information?
We're on the lower level on the wall. And it goes on page 9. Do you see that, Captain?
Yes, I see that.
Yes, I've just given you a demonstration of some of the bullets where they landed.
As I said in my statement, Chair, with the statements of the shotters and the pictures taken by the photographer, it does not speak to each other with the statements of the shotters. And my opinion is, as if anyone tried to hide, that they go hiding in a laying position or that they go hiding in a kneeling position, that they stumble on each other. Because it's alleged somebody was firing at the police there. So, or some bodies was firing, that's the allegation. But if you look at all the pictures depicted, they were taken here These are all low shots. And you can't, a rifle, just to give you the difference between shooting with a pistol and a rifle, if I train a slow learner with a pistol, if they're in fear of the sound going off and they don't follow the fundamentals which I would teach them, they will shoot the ground. And from 5 meters, they shoot the ground. But if they follow the fundamentals and they know their weapons, that's why I said this should be advanced units that are doing house clearances. If you're not trained to do it, don't do it, because you'll end up injuring or killing your own member. You're going through a door. Whatever way your rifle is pointing is the direction in which it's going to fire. So there's no way if you got your rifle in your shoulder, it's going to fire on the ground. So the statements,
Unless you point it, it's on your shoulder, nothing stops you from pointing it to the ground.
Let me give you a better simulation, Chair. And it's good you ask this question. It's healthy because not everyone carries rifles. A rifle is about 15 kilos with a magazine in it, 15 kgs. We got tactical belts on this rifle, so you don't carry a rifle without a belt. So it supports you with the weight. When you train with a rifle, it's from the safe radio rifles here, but when you engage in a threat, your rifle is here. So the movement is not from your lower hip, 1, 2, 3. By 1, 2, 3, me as a weapon expert, I would have double tapped you before you do anything. So the rifle will be in the shoulder when you enter in the threat. There's no way when you discharge that rifle, you're going to hit the ground or you're going to fire low. So when we do close contact, we say, whatever direction you point your rifle, if you discharge it, that's the way it's going to fire. So if they went around the corner, for example, and I'm not dealing with what happened there because I was not there, but I'm saying if one goes around the corner, you need to cut with your rifle. So normally the way we would cut, we will drop the rifle, so it's not, the barrel's not seen coming around the corner. Drop the rifle, and as soon as we cut, we lift it up to engage. So you're not firing in a low position. I'm saying from experience, when we dry fire and we simulate, that's the exercise. The movement's never from upward, downward. It's always from here, safe, ready, to your shoulder. It's never up here. Even when we engage in someone that's higher, first floor, second floor. You know, if you're going up the stairs, it's always in your shoulder. It's from there to there. And if the threat's not there, it's immediately here, because you could have someone innocent that will just bypass or come in front of you.
Friends, if you say he was notorious because he moved with this gang or that gang or that gang, that's different from saying he's a known killer or he's wanted for committing.
Chair, with the place where he's sitting, it's not just sitting where you're sitting and having a social. It's a yard that's got about 6 pit bulls. It's got people with unlicensed guns in there. It's got walls about as high as the ceiling. Every time I did a raid there, we had to breach, as in terms of pass the walls and then pass the pit bulls before we get to them. And drugs are sold live as we sit here. Even if we call someone out to say, just go do a live video with us, it's sold live there. So you're not sitting where you're saying you're talking to an ex-gangster or someone's reformed from prison or a school friend. You're sitting right there. So, you know, I don't know if it's correct to say the birds of the feather flock together. How would you label me if I'm sitting in a drug den, if my brother's a drug dealer? You're going to obviously say I'm dealing in drugs. Whether you smoke or you don't, whether you drink or you don't, he's not moving where I say coincidentally on a sports field or maybe coming out of a church service or a youth service or a program. You're sitting in a drug den. It's more clearly Hollywood. The shootings happened right there. The killings happened right there. The whole community knows this. Went to this crime. But I've seen this thing, it's like nobody wants to speak about what's happening. But that is what's actually happening. But I know this Bevan is late, he's no more. But Bevan associated himself not with 2 gangs, with 1 gang. He was part of Hollywood. just to place emphasis on it, of latter I've learned, during my few months left in the police, I've learned about the west side and the east side. And that west side and the east side goes across KZN, maybe South Africa. But just to take it back home domestically, they belong to the west side. So these gangs have expanded, where they say you're either from the west or the east side. You hear these talks, it's like it loses you.